Hey there, you rebelicious soul. It is great to have you here. I'm excited to inspire you again today, and I hope that this podcast episode will open up new possibilities within you. Enjoy and feel free to reach out if I can support you in any way. Relationships aren't just roses and rainbows. Anyone who is in a long-term relationship knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's true. And yes, relationships bring bliss beyond imagination. I mean, they bring intimacy and togetherness, and there's a shared responsibility instead of having to do it all alone. There's someone who loves you with all your flaws. There's physical touch. There is being seen, being mirrored, being challenged, growing together, and it's all amazing. I really believe that our relationships, both our intimate relationships as well as friendships, for example, they can propel us into greatness. And I believe that many of you will agree. This is a concept that we can all admit to, especially when things are great. And we can agree when others joke about the troubles in paradise and we laugh about it, and we can feel super proud of how we sail through the storms together. However, when shit is really hitting the fan, when we're in the middle of conflict, and when it's not just roses and rainbows, when we're going through a rough patch, short-term or long-term, it becomes so hard and so exhausting and so painful sometimes. When you don't like yourself or your partner that much, it's just really, really hard sometimes to feel the love that you usually feel. You might even feel hopeless or annoyed and judged or unseen, maybe scared, Well, I've got some great words for you. Congratulations, you are completely normal. Healthy relationships have difficulties like any other. People in a relationship fight. And when you're in a conflict with your partner, it might be that you meet that immature piece in yourself, because the way that you react to the situation might not be as mature and as beautiful as you would like it to be. Sometimes in the moment, it might be that your nervous system is so activated that you criticize, you blame, you project, you lash out, you become unreasonably angry, or you run away and withdraw. Maybe you try to control your partner. There are different sabotage systems that can get in the way of truly healthy relating. Yeah. And your mind may have all sorts of opinions about that. For example, about the fact that you are engaging in unhealthy behavior. Potentially, you have even more judgment about your partner not reacting in the way that you would want them to. In a relationship, in any case, there are two, and sometimes more, imperfect human beings that are just trying to find their way in living a life together. And with that, you bring along all of your baggage, and you bring your trauma, and you bring your nervous system, which reacts differently in both of your cases. So yeah, we fuck up. And sometimes we fuck up so massively that we really hurt the other person, even if we don't want to. I remember years ago when I was in a relationship with a married man, and this was completely consensual. We were polyamorous. And I loved it when he shared about his long-term relationship with his wife. They were married for over 20 years, and I learned a lot from both of them. So at some point, he joked about how he and his wife had actually traumatized each other more than their parents ever did, because they were together for over half of their lives already. I found that so it was a joke, but there was so much truth in that, because what it taught me in that moment was like, yeah, we are going to traumatize each other in relationships, and that's just the way it is. That the simplicity of that truth just always stayed with me. It brings me lightness to the fact that pain and disappointment are both inevitable in relationships. Obviously, and that's a disclaimer, this is no excuse to tolerate abuse. And I'm definitely not advocating that you continue to accept or engage in behavior that is draining for the relationship, that doesn't, that is actually creating poison in your relationship. I mean, it's no excuse to not work on yourself or to not, find healthier, more mature ways of handling a situation. I mean, we can learn to do better. But yeah, sometimes we go a little crazy. The fact is that we hurt each other. It's part of relating. And once you accept that, and once you accept that your partner will never be perfect, true life and true love can begin. The question is then, when there is a conflict or when there's a moment of a disrupt, how do you repair? Because it's never about the disruption alone. It's about the repair. How do you restore the connection? So I believe that relationship is like a container, an energetic container where you are both in. Terry Real calls it a biosphere. In any case, you're in that. You're in that container. You're breathing the same air. You are in that space. So for a mature, healthy relationship to be sustainable, you want to make sure that that space, that container, remains as clean as possible. And this means that straight after a fight, or a deep process or difficulty or challenge, it's important that you both, or all three or four, whatever, that everyone who's involved takes the responsibility to clear what needs to be cleared so that the space can become clean again. And that can have different ways, there are different ways to do that. Sometimes it means that you have a good conversation so that you can fully hear each other and really, truly listen to each other's wants and needs. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to overly express about all the pain and hurt that they've caused you. This is not an excuse to engage into verbal vomiting or careless complaining, It means that you also stick to the subject. And sometimes you even suck it up. You give your beloved what they need. I would say, choose your battles and choose them wisely. And at other times, it might even be that you need someone external, like a relationship coach like myself, to guide that process, because they might have more helpful repair strategies or tools that you can learn and apply and then take along in the rest of your relationship. I would truly recommend that because, when I'm working with my clients, I can see how they're growing so fast and they take that along, and this can really save relationships. In any case, the intention is to keep that container clear and clean. And that also means not hold on to grudges, because the grudges that you hold on to, that's poison. What we want is to restore trust and create new agreements and to choose love and to choose that, hey, we're doing this together. So I'd love to give you 6 pointers that I believe are really important to take along with you when you repair after a rupture. First of all, it's really important that you are on the same side. So it's not about being right. Because, you have a choice. You either state your case in court and you make sure that you are being heard, or you try to also listen to the other person. It's not about being right. The thing is, in mature relationships, there is simply no space, no place for objectivity. You have your reality, your partner has their reality. That's just the way it is. There is no objective truth. So there's no point in trying to be right. It's about being loved and connected. So what do you want? Sometimes your need to be right and to state your case, you're just going to have to put that aside. Otherwise, it's not going to help anything. Also, second, there is a difference between expressing your emotions and projecting your stories. We could talk a whole lot about that, but when you express your emotions, you're keeping it to yourself. What you're saying is, I feel angry or I feel hurt. And the story I tell myself is that you don't really see or want to hear my side of it or whatever. Again, this is side. You don't want to talk about sides, but at least then you're framing it better. This is different. The way that I'm stating it like this is very different from, you never listen to me. You are always so selfish. That is a projection of the story that you've created about your partner. That doesn't help one bit. Expressing your emotions, keeping it to yourself about what you're noticing in yourself, about what you're feeling, and using the words, the story I tell myself or in my experience, so that it stays here. You're not projecting. The third, keep it simple. Don't make it any bigger than this very moment. By sticking to this specific moment of disappointment, you prevent yourself from going into big issues in the relationship. But the thing is, you're not there yet. You're still repairing. So the risk of triggering them even more is very big. So you want to avoid that. You want to make sure, you want to prevent that. You want to make sure that you stick to this moment. So you repair first until you're in a calm and good space. And then you can talk about the bigger issues if needed. Otherwise, stick to this moment, keep it micro, and then state your requests clearly and what you want differently. That's a really important one. If there's something you want, if there's something you want to agree on, say it. Be clear. So the fourth one to take along are the words of Stephen Covey: seek first to understand, then to be understood. Oh, this can help so much because it really helps you to, empathize, to put yourself in their shoes, and by opening up to their perspective, chances are that they're going to open up to yours as well. Number 5, trust that your partner has your back. Instead of assuming the worst, assume the best. Trust that they have your back, that you're on the same team, that they want you to feel good and to be happy. Instead of, they don't want to hurt you purposefully at all. Yes, you're on the same team. And the 6th pointer that I would definitely take along is, sometimes it's really good to stop the words and make love instead. The bodies can communicate so much better than the minds. You can restore so much connection by being physically intimate. And whether you make love or whether it's just a hug or it's a belly to belly, you literally lie on your sides in the bed, belly to belly, holding each other and just breathing together for 20 minutes. That can be so beautiful and you can really restore the connection. It's literally increasing oxytocin levels in the both of you. So that is what I have to share on repairing. I would love to hear from you. If you feel that you want to share something, leave me a note. In my email, for example, info@michellecoops.com, or find a way to connect with me on Instagram @MichelleCoops. I'd love to hear from you. And for now, have a wonderful day. And the next time you have a conflict or fight with your partner, remember all these gifts I gave you. Ciao. Thank you so much for listening. It's been my absolute pleasure to share this with you again. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. And if you're hungry for more, please check out my website, michellecoops.com, and subscribe to my newsletter in which I share so much value every single week. Have a magical day. Stay raw, stay real, stay revelicious.